Child, oh God. We are not making good time, baby. We not. You don't know that. You'll see this on time, hopefully. But, ooh. I was supposed to start filming at like 9:30 a.m. It is 3:30 in the afternoon, 3:45 in the afternoon. It's a long story. I had my wig on and then my other one came off and then I had to put this one back on and then I had to do a lot of work, blah, blah, blah. You don't care. Hi, it's Kendo here. If you're new around here, welcome. If you're not new around here, what is up? I'm Skillet Biscuit and happy Saturday. If you don't know what Saturday is, it's when I do a little something on my channel called Bad Movies on a Beat. The series on my channel where I talk about bad movies while putting my makeup on. I was so proud of myself because I was like, I'm gonna get work done. And I procrastinated doing other work. The hell? Watch me about to waste more time complaining, but I'm gonna do it. I just don't understand how we're here because I definitely said, oh, I'm up early. I'm gonna get all this work done. And now here we are trying to shimmy a video in. Granted, today is probably gonna be a shorter video because there are two movies. I'm talking about two movies today. Two movies that are currently in theaters right now. But before we do that, we gotta send it over to Admiral Kennie to secure a bag. Thank you. Hello everyone, it's Admiral Kennie and today's video is sponsored by Raycon. Look at it. Yeah, Raycon. Raycon's everyday earbuds offer premium sound and function at a fraction of the price of other premium audio brands. Don't want to take my word for it? Perhaps take the word of over 50,000 five-star reviews. Whether it's the everyday earbuds, low latency gaming headphones, or a speaker with a battery that'll last all night through your next party, Raycon's got you covered. Raycon everyday earbuds have customized gel tips that allows you to get them right in your ear hole so that they don't come out. They're water and sweat resistant, and with about an 8-hour playtime, they are the best battery I've had in any earbuds that I own. So my kitchen was a complete catastrophe this morning, so I had them on while I was listening to YouTube videos and suspenseful audiobooks this morning. You can use them while cleaning your house, while you're taking your dog for a walk, while you're exercising. Your Raycons can be with you everywhere you go. So if you're ready to buy something small with a big impact, you can click on the link down below or go to buyraycon.com/Kennie to get 15% off your Raycon purchase. Big thanks to Raycon for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get on to the debauchery. Where's all my stuff? It's chaos in this place. Yeah. Okay, so last week we talked about Love is Blind. That doesn't count. So the week before that, though, we talked about that movie, the Christian romance that Ja Rule was in with Adrienne Bailon. I know. It's called I'm in Love with a Church Girl. They go to church. Yeah, we made the joke that time. The movie is notoriously awful, and it made for good content, though, as most awful things do. So if you want to watch my video on it, feel free to check it out up above, or you can check it out in the Bad Movies in a Beat playlist. So this week is kind of an interesting special in that how often do we have two serendipitously released movies that have a central focus of bears killing people on a murderous rampage? One could even suggest that we were lucky to get the first one, but to get two, what have we done to deserve this? Today we're talking about two completely unrelated bear horror comedies that came out like 2 weeks apart from each other, or at least in my area, 2 weeks apart from each other. And that is Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and Cocaine Bear. Both 2023. Because of who I am and because of what I do, being a connoisseur of crap, I've been on the lookout for both of these films for months, especially the Winnie the Pooh one, because that one was talked about way before it came out. I think it was going to have a release closer to Halloween, and then it got pushed back to do an actual theater release. And then when Cocaine Bear's trailer went viral, everyone made sure I knew about that one. So I had these quickly placed on the list for the year because I knew it sounded like some garbage that I would be into. But I gotta say, disappointingly, embarrassingly, one could say, only one movie actually understood the assignment, if you will. Which is interesting because it seems pretty obvious what that assignment would be. Be funny, be maybe a bit gory, stupid, but in a fun way, an intentional way, you know? But it would seem that one movie really got lost in the 100-Acre Woods. I think it's pretty obvious which movie I'm not a fan of. So let's start off on a negative foot. Let's talk about Winnie the Pooh. Not just a negative foot, but it was also the movie I saw first. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey is a 2023 British slasher film that is a creative, certainly that, creative reimagining of the story of Winnie the Pooh. I think, if I understand correctly, Winnie the Pooh had gone back into the public, what is that called? Public domain. Right after Winnie the Pooh went into the public domain was this movie announced. So they were on it. But in this movie, it is about a Winnie the Pooh and a piglet that are vengeful and ready to kill off humankind. And Beary, disappointingly though, that's about the whole movie. That's pretty much the plot. There is a little bit of plot laying foundation in the very, very beginning, and like an animated opening, in which they basically say that the animals of the 100-Acre Woods were visited by Christopher when he was a child, and his visiting is what kept them alive because he would feed them. But when he grew up and went to college, he essentially left the animals to fend for themselves during the frigid and harsh winter, which resulted in them starving, to the extent that the only way they could live was to eat Eeyore. This traumatized them so greatly that they had an unrelenting hatred for all humans and have decided to give away any connection to humanity that they had. Apparently they could speak when they knew Christopher. They decided to throw that away and return to their animalistic savageness and begin to take out any humans that ever happen across the 100-Acre Woods. It's stupid. Sorry. Then a few years later, when Christopher decides to return to the animals, now an adult, and engage, he wants to introduce his soon-to-be wife to his childhood friends. He returns to find that they are not at all the joyous creatures he once knew. It would seem the only creatures left now are Piglet and Pooh, and they have not forgiven Christopher for abandoning them. They swiftly kill the fiancé and kidnap Christopher to torture him for his misdeeds towards them, I guess. I don't know. Should I do a Beary eye? Should we keep the pun going? But it would seem that the movie couldn't really exist just on that premise alone, you know, the torture of Christopher, because honestly, the movie would have to end. So it then devolves into a very like stereotypical slasher where a group of teenage girls end up in a cabin in the woods. Now, this movie is definitely a slasher, which isn't really my thing as far as horror goes. I'm much more of a fan of like psychological thrillers, more so than just like, let's see how creative we can get with the kills. So when it got quite gruesome, honestly, in this movie, it was just like a bit off-putting. Like, one girl gets her head rolled over very slowly by a car. Another one is stabbed through the mouth until she's pinned against a post. One gets decapitated. Christopher gets whipped by Eeyore's tail. I guess they kept that as a memento. And, you know, slashers aren't really my thing. Like, just pure gore and violence isn't entertaining to me. So I was just sitting there like, okay. And I was waiting for the movie to be funny. And I guess that's where some wires got crossed, because is this movie even a comedy? How the fuck are you gonna have a Winnie the Pooh slasher film and not think that you should be a little bit ironic? So I'm sitting there waiting for the humor, and it's not there, which is a fucking shame, because I was going in there expecting like comedy and all I got was like gore, which doesn't scare me or entertain me. I was just bored. And it is really fascinating that this whole thing doesn't scare me, because honestly, the masks are giving very, very Mr. Meaty secret episode. And I feel like if they would have let the creators of Mr. Meaty have at this, they would have fucked me up. But instead, I just sat there for an hour and a half. The movie's not particularly long, but I just sat there bored. Honestly, truly, kind of hate this movie. Not good, like, in any way. Well, that's not true. I will say it is a weirdly well shot movie. Like, the lighting and the camera work is actually shockingly cinematically well done. I think it expected that the premise of an evil Winnie the Pooh would carry a film, which it doesn't. Like, you need to have things happen in the movie. There's no plot other than the first 5 minutes in which we learn about why they're upset, but that's it. There's no real character progression in any. I know I'm sounding stupid, like criticizing an evil Winnie the Pooh, but no, like seriously, I want to see a movie. If I'm going to a movie, regardless of how ludicrous the concept is, I want to see a movie. But this movie has nothing to it. There's no comedy, not even comedy that tried and didn't land. I don't even think they tried to do any jokes. And if they did, That's even worse because I didn't even know you were trying to. Spoiler, the movie ends with Christopher being able to get away after all the other girls are killed, but they were able to help him get free when they discovered him in the torture chamber. And the movie kind of ends very abruptly with like Winnie the Pooh stabbing the final girl over and over again, and then that's it. That's the end of the film. And I want that money back. I I want that money, I want that time back. Again, the only thing this movie has for it, I guess, is somewhat inventive slasher things. Like some girl got thrown into a wood chipper. You know, if you're into that, you'll be into this movie. But honestly, again, going back to like slashers not being particularly interesting to me, don't get me wrong, I think there's a time and place for cartoonish violence. But if I wanted that, I wouldn't go to see Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. I would watch like a 3.5-hour Mortal Kombat fatality compilations. They are very creative. Are the people that make Mortal Kombat okay? Y'all been doing this for like 30 years of thinking of new interesting ways to cartoonishly kill people. I hope y'all get therapy as like one of your packages at work. But womp womp, this movie's boring. If I had to give it a score out of 10, I'd give it a 2. I give it 1 point because the special effects, like the practical effects, are pretty good. Juicy, for lack of a better word. I'm sure I can't show you any of them, so just take my word for it. And another point because the lighting and the cinematography wasn't bad. As for our second film though, Cocaine Bear, this movie understood better what it was being asked to provide to the audience, and I appreciate that. And though arguably around the same level of violence and gore as Winnie the Pooh, this movie actually is one, and therefore it makes it a bit more of a pleasant viewing experience. Now, is the movie good? Questionable. Arguable. But was it a movie? Yes. Cocaine Bear is the story of various people coming in contact with a black bear that had consumed copious amounts of cocaine. We follow the detective that's trying to find the drug trafficking ring that had brought the cocaine into the area. We follow the drug kingpin and his henchmen. Makes sense in context of the film. I guess the part that I was not expecting is the subplot about a woman trying to find her child in the woods who had played hooky from school and was attacked by the bear and driven into hiding. But my favorite character was definitely the park ranger, which they killed off far too quickly. She was hilarious. And this movie is kooky as which is exactly what I expected and what I required from a movie called Cocaine Bear. It's kind of gory. There's people getting disemboweled. It's a lot going on. People grinding their faces at top speed on concrete. Yeah, it has all the things that you come to expect with horror and slashers and everything. But it's an actual movie. The movie is a bit predictable. Like once we get the story going, you kind of know where it's going, and but that's fine. That's not inherently a bad thing, especially again with a premise like Cocaine Bear. You don't know. Maybe we would like something that makes us feel on solid ground. Like it has all the things that I expect from a movie with a premise like this, but also some things that I didn't. I didn't expect the heartfelt story of the woman and her child after she got, lost in the forest trying to escape the cocaine bear. The movie also has like a shocking amount of like tenderness about it. Like about families, family dynamics, the drug kingpin and his son are fighting and he doesn't want to be a drug dealer anymore. And the bear is a mom, so she's taking care of her cubs, and then the lady and her kid. It's a lot about family. Cocaine Bear. Which is much more than I expected from the film when I walked in again to the campy bear doing cocaine story. The movie brings everything that is promised. It's campy. It's gory. It's a horror comedy with pretty good CGI, but not too good that it f***s with the kookiness, right? You need it to look a little unreal for the premise because it's Cocaine Bear, right? You need to know that you're in a comedy. If you do it too well, it's like, oh, you're taking yourself a bit too seriously. But with that said, the movie isn't entirely unbelievable in the sense that it is based off of true events. Though there was no bear high on cocaine killing people in the 1980s, as far as I'm aware, it's actually inspired by true events. And yes, I know. Especially with this wig and the way I just said that, I felt very Wendy Williams. Yes. Yes. In 1985, a drug trafficker and former narcotics officer by the name of Andrew C. Thornton II died while trying to jump out of his overloaded plane during a narcotics drop-off. Apparently his parachute didn't deploy and he died. And a bear consumed the cocaine that he dropped off and was found dead 3 months later after having opened approximately 40 plastic containers of cocaine. R.I.P. big boy. But the bear does live on in a way. It's on display at the Kentucky Fun Mall in Lexington, Kentucky, which named the creature Cocaine Bear in 2015. Again, whether or not the real bear went on a homicidal joyride is hard to say, but as for this movie, it's a lot of fun and I kind of like it. Worth one watch. I wouldn't watch it more than that. I'd give it like a 6.5 out of 10. Again, worth the hour and a half you'll spend watching it and no more. I couldn't see it becoming someone's new favorite movie, but I could see it being a movie you're like, get drunk. But I could see it as a film you put on with your friends while you're not sober at all, and you can all communally heckle the film because that's what it's meant for. It did its job. It did exactly what I signed on for when I said I'm going to see Cocaine Bear, and I'm really excited about that. Winnie the Pooh though. Now, being that both of these movies are currently in theaters and I don't feel like going to watch them again for the purposes of a scene-by-scene breakdown, I'm gonna leave it at a review for today. But if you saw these movies or want to see these movies, put it down in the comment section. I'm curious what your thoughts were of it. Am I the only person that was deeply disappointed by it? No, I'm not, because I actually saw immediately after the movie was released, it got like a 0%. Movie's shit. Movie's bad. But yeah, if you've seen either or both of these, put those down in the comment section because I want to hear your opinions on it. If you like this video, feel free to like it. Follow me on all my social media, Instagram and Twitter, both of which are KennieJD. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.